Hello, I'm Ivory Blackwood, and tonight, in celebration of Veterans Day, FM 105 WRDR presents a very special hour of music and memories. We'll find out what it was like and what it means to be in the American Armed Forces, and the privilege a few of us have had in participating in the Armed Forces entertainment program overseas. With me tonight is the fabulous comedian Tommy Moore, whom I had the great experience of touring with overseas in a DoD show, along with 4 other terrific comedians. Right now, I'd like to introduce to you a wonderful personality, a terrific friend, and we spent 7 weeks together touring over in Europe and Iceland. Please meet Mr. Tommy Moore. How you doing, Tommy?
Hello. God, it's good to be back with you after 7 weeks in Iceland. It's warm here. There's no wind. It's not icy. It's terrific.
That's right. And we're going to hear a little bit of you live in Keflavik, Iceland right now.
But I take my wife everywhere I go. Went to California, took her there, went down south, took her here, came up here, took her here. You know why? Because when I leave her home, she goes shopping. My wife is one of the great shoppers of all times. She'll buy anything. We took her to one store that sold unfinished furniture. They sold her a tree. She don't care. She puts everything in credit cards. My wife just figured out how to pay off the American Express. She put it on Visa. Don't laugh. Last month, the crook stole my wife's MasterCard. So far, I didn't call it in. Because so far, the crook is spending less than she was.
That's Tommy Moore, my very special guest this evening in Keflavik, Iceland. Oh.
You know what? There were no commercials on military TV. And it was making me nuts. And they said they wanted us to bring a part of the States over to them. So naturally, what I did was talked about TV commercials on stage.
That's right. Tommy Moore. Let's go to Milden Hall in England right now.
Well, that's what it's all about, spend. That's why they have commercials on TV, to get you to spend your money. Am I right? They got a commercial for every part of your body. They start up here to get you to spend. Ring around the collar. You ever see that commercial? Where the kids are in the yard singing. Ring around the collar, ring around the collar. And the husband always looks at the wife and says, why can't you get my collars clean? Just once I'd like to see her say to him, why don't you wash your neck?
Tommy, what was one of your fondest memories?
You know, really, the fondest memory I had was the reason I went on the tour. And that happened about 6 months before. I was doing a comedy club in Philadelphia around 2nd and Market, and I'm very aware of the audience before I go on. And I was headlining, there were 2 acts before me, and I'm watching the audience, and in one corner of the audience, a guy gets up and leaves the building. And I saw another guy leave in about 5 minutes to go after him. And I didn't know what was going on, but it was like I was curious, what's wrong? Was there a problem here? Just before I walked on stage, I saw the 2 of them come back together and sit down. Now, I'm on stage, I'm doing my show, and out of the corner of my eye, I'm looking at this one guy who left first. And I can tell he's not in a good mood. But I get him laughing, and I get him applauding, and I do my show. And after it's over, people are coming up to me saying, you know, compliments, whatever. This guy comes up to me, who left initially, and said, I just want to thank you because you made me laugh, and you made me feel better. And I left it at that. But then his other friend came up to me and said, you don't know what that was about. Let me tell you. He said, when my friend left here in the beginning of the show, I had a feeling I knew where he was going. He said, I followed him down to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, which was on Penn's Landing. And he said, I put my hand around his shoulder and said, what are you doing here? And he said, my friend said, I had to be with my brothers. And he said, yeah, but it's time to go back now to our wives at the club. And they came back, and he said, you made my buddy laugh. And that was the minute I knew that the next time they asked me to do a DoD tour, I had to go. Because to make these men and women laugh is so important. They do so much for us in service to their country. And they were the most appreciative, wonderful audiences in the world. And it was a ball. I know you had a ball. I did.
That's right. Oh, that was great. Thank you very much, Tommy. What a great memory. We're back again. This is Ivory Blackwood, and tonight we're celebrating Veterans Day 1993 right here on FM 105 WRDR, along with my very special guest, the wonderful gentleman. He's been a great friend of mine, comedian Tommy Moore.
Tell them what the show was about.
Well, the show consisted of 5 comedians. One was the magician. I said Brian Dean was the magician, and he did some fabulous tricks. We also had a comic impressionist, Frank Doherty. Great with, what were some of the comic impressions that he did?
Oh, he did Mr. Rogers. He did, God, I'm trying to think. He did Rodney Dangerfield. He did Columbo. He did everybody.
Oh, and the kids loved him as well. I mean, we had guys that could work with adults and kids. I mean, if it was an adult crowd, believe me, they had the great jokes for the adults. But when it came to the children, they were definitely great with the family shows, too. And that made me very proud of all the people we were working with. What I did is I did some country singing. And that's like my favorite thing in the world, besides, singing standards as well. And I also had a chance to MC the show and introduce all the guys as they came up. And it was just a great thrill for me.
And don't forget Rocky.
That's right, Mr. Rocky Wilson. He's from Chester, Pennsylvania.
Yes,
By the way, we didn't mention Ben Curlin.
Ben Curlin. See, we saw Big Ben in London,
That's right.
and we had Little Ben on stage.
That's right. You know what I remember about you when I was setting up the equipment? You were always out there pulling the tables closer, so the tables were like 2 feet from the microphone. What is it with you?
Well, no, we like to have people right. A great story. We did one outdoor concert, and the picnic tables must have been a football field away from the stage, which was okay because most of the day was like a rock concert, and the music was fine. But all of a sudden now, the people were so far away, they couldn't see the magic, they could hardly hear the voices, they could never see your smile. And we just got on stage and said, could you get a little bit closer? And here were all these guys picking up picnic tables and benches, dragging them over to the stage, and in 2 minutes we had a theater.
But you know what we did? If they didn't come closer, don't you? I was out there, and I grabbed some of the guys and brought them up on stage, and you would bring some of the girls up on stage.
Well, if you could bring a guy up, I can bring a girl up. And I think I had more fun with the girls than you had with the guys.
Wait a minute. I could debate that now.
Okay. This woman never stayed on the stage for 1 minute. She was at every table. She was like the Benihana of singers. She would go table to table and sing songs to every person in that room, and she made them feel terrific.
I love you, Tommy. Thanks for everything, and thanks for being my very special friend. And
Thank
thanks
you.
for making this show extra special.
Thank you.